Hey guys, it's Chris. Welcome to my channel. Car vlog today. I saw a video on Facebook today, and it's just something I kind of wanted to chat about because this is something that affects my personal life. And to kind of keep you guys up to date, it also affects my YouTube channel. So we're talking about today invisible illnesses, and I know that a lot of you probably are quite familiar with this. Being judged by invisible illnesses, meaning chronic illnesses that people can't see. I'm sorry if the light's kind of weird. It's really early here. It's like 8:45. It's early for me. So this is something that every once in a while, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you'll see I post stuff about invisible illnesses, and just because I look happy doesn't mean I'm okay, and that kind of stuff. And I'm sorry if I'm not looking at you, I have to look at the road. But you know, it's a subject that's kind of really near and dear to my heart. I have talked about mental illness before in videos, and any invisible illness, any chronic illness. My mother also suffers from, an invisible illness. She has autoimmune disease, quite a few of them actually. And, the struggle is real, guys. And, I know I don't have a handicap stick or anything like that. I'm on permanent disability. I was diagnosed with bipolar. I was diagnosed with everything, actually, to be honest with you. Throughout my whole years of therapy, since I was 18 years old, I've had one diagnosis after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. So I basically now tell myself that, or people in general, like, I have panic disorder. That's the main thing that, and agoraphobia. That's like the main things that affect my life. Do I suffer with bouts of depression? Absolutely. No doubt about it. Do I, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. That's normally diagnosed when you self-harm. Have I self-harmed in the past? Absolutely. I went through quite a long bout with that. I consider myself cured. I guess you're never really cured. It could always pop up again, but I've kind of made a decision just to never go back there to that dark place. But borderline personality is not just self-harm. I mean, that's one of the things that they, if you self-harm, they automatically, stick the label borderline personality disorder on you. And you know what? And that's the other thing I want to talk about too, is labels when it comes to mental illness. Or any kind of illness, really. Like my son has ADHD, and, it's a real thing. But it's so hard not to, it's even hard for me. That's something, the ADHD is something that I'm still struggling with. I still don't totally understand. I'm kind of a common sense kind of person. So a lot of the stuff that happens, or a lot of stuff that he does or doesn't do, why are we stopped? I don't know. That he does or doesn't do, I say to myself, well, why? Like, it seems like common sense stuff, but I have to realize that his brain's not wired the way mine is. With that being said, my brain is not wired the way many others are. And it affects my YouTube channel. I've said before that I don't upload on a regular basis, and I don't. And, one of the reasons is the spontaneity of it. I'm a very spontaneous person, and the reason that is, you can either call it spontaneous, I choose to call it spontaneous, or you could call it a procrastinator. One of the two. I like to say spontaneous, only because, I find I do my best work spur of the moment kind of stuff. I'm not a huge plan it out person. I'm trying to get better as far as planning stuff out, because when you're spontaneous, a lot of the stuff can get thrown by the wayside, or you can say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. I think what people don't understand with invisible illnesses is that they're just as debilitating? No, that's hair removal. Debilitating as other illnesses. You just can't see them. You know, like, if you saw someone walking down the street without an arm, right, you'd say, oh, God, oh, I feel so bad for that person. And, you know, whatever the deal is. But people with chronic invisible illnesses, you know, you don't see it. We walk around and we look just like everybody else. And, you know, people are like, oh, nothing's really wrong with her. Like, I have a fear of driving. And that's a lot of times why I do these car vlogs. It gives me a good outlet, and before I know it, I'm back to my safe zone. And so I'm trying to like form my thoughts here, because I'm also looking for a store, so I'm like, I don't want to miss it. Oh, there it is, right there. But you know, they're just as debilitating. If people only realized, like, I say, like, I'm missing part of my brain half the time. Basically, that's what I say. That's what my illness entails. Because, you know, instead of missing an arm, I'm missing half my brain. You know, and it's frustrating. And it's frustrating for the people who have it, too. You know, just as, I think people don't understand what they can't see. Is this guy parked? Oh my God, I'm in this like little rinky-dink parking lot here. They don't understand what they can't see, okay? And I think that a lot of the times that's the problem. People, or what they don't understand. And I think a lot of, as with anything in life, unless you walk in my shoes, unless you walk in anybody else's shoes, you know, you really shouldn't judge. Now, do we all judge? Of course we all judge. I'm like one of the least judgmental people on the face of the earth, but I'm not gonna lie, I still judge. You know, usually to myself. You know, I'll think something as someone walks by or whatever. For the most, you know, it depends. It depends on the situation, right? I really try not to, but you know, we all do it. We're all human. But it's hard, you guys. It's really hard. I was in a group before, and some of these people probably still watch my videos, and I really don't care, just to lurk. When I was in the wax world, it got really ridiculous, because there were people who were like, oh, she's car vlogging, which means she can drive, which means she's not disabled. No, there is nothing on my disability that says she can't drive. I just share that with you guys. It's one of my fears. Why is it a fear? I don't know. I've never been in a car accident in my life. I have no idea. I think it's more the dreaded, not once I'm out, like usually once I'm out and about, it depends on where I'm going to. If it's my safe zone, if I feel safe, if it's you know, a certain mile radius around my house, then, you know, I'm usually good. But if I have to go outward, you know, further, I usually need somebody with me. But basically what I would say is just don't judge unless you've walked in someone else's shoes. Invisible illnesses are the same. They're just isn't, they're still illnesses. Ask my family members. My family members have gone through hell and back with me. There's days like today, like I just want to go home and go to bed. I never get up this early. This is crazy, but with Dante's camp schedule, I have to, and I have to get him there. And normally how it works with me is if I have to do something for someone else, I can do it. Like my children, I can do it. I make myself, I force myself. If it's just me, I would sit in the house 24/7, never move, order everything from off of Peapod, never go grocery shopping, you know what I mean? Like I would order anything I needed on, you know, you can order anything you need off the internet nowadays, right? So I would just basically be a hermit in my house. And it's sad because I'm a super sociable person. I'm very social. Like I don't have social anxiety. Like you put me in a social situation and I just blossom. I need interaction. I need to be around people. But you get into these ruts, and you know, there's days where I just want to sleep on it. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to cook dinner for anybody. I don't want to shower. I don't want to brush my teeth. I don't want to get changed. I don't want to get up. I don't want to put my makeup on. you know, I just, and obviously in these vlogs, you will not see me with makeup because it's 8:30 in the morning and Chris doesn't do that. You know, but like I said, it's really, really hard. Invisible illnesses are legit illnesses. And, you know, it's hard for people to understand. I even have some problems with Marin sometimes, where he just doesn't get it, because he gets up every morning at 4:30 a.m., goes off to work, works like 10 to 12 hour shifts, works super hard, like labor intensive, you know, work in the extreme hot, the extreme cold, you know what I mean? Comes home, still, you know what I mean, does what he needs to do, and he doesn't get it, you know. And I keep trying to say, you know, you don't need, and even with Dante's ADHD, a lot of times he doesn't get it. He's like, he's just lazy. I'm like, you know, is he lazy? Yeah, he's 14 years old. He's a teenager. Yeah, there's laziness there. But when it comes to schoolwork and stuff like that and everything, there are things. His brain's not wired the way yours and me's and yours are. Can't even talk today, my mouth. But you know what I'm trying to say. And it's the same way with me. There's days I wake up and I get so much accomplished, and there's other days where the laundry can sit and pile up for all I give a shit. Like, I don't freaking care. I don't care. You know, you got no socks to wear, whatever, wear the socks. You know, my whole attitude when I get that way is like, wear the socks you wore yesterday, or how about you do the fucking laundry? Like, you know, there's times where getting out of bed is hard. There's times, like I said, brushing my teeth. It's you know, stuff that people take for granted every day. And it's sad. It really is. I mean, you know, when people say, are you a sad person? No, like I try not to consider myself a sad person. I really don't. Because I don't want to dwell on that. Like, if I really think deep down, am I a sad person? Yeah, I am, you know? I'm not happy with my life. I wish I was working at least part-time. I mean, I can still be on disability and work part-time. Like, I worked at Sephora seasonal, you know what I mean? Like, you can work up to a certain number of hours and for a certain number of years without losing disability, because you never, especially when it comes to mental illness, because you never know when your highs and lows are going to be, how you're going to do in a job situation, you know, that kind of thing. But when I think back, it's like, I was working in the Attorney General's office for 10 years. I went to work every single day. I worked, you know, 8:30 to 5:30 every day, brought home money, and, you know, and what drives me crazy, going back to what I was saying in the wax world, you know, there's a group of girls who were just like, you know, oh, she's driving, so we're going to call Social Security and we're going to, you know, get her disabilities yanked from her. Like, really? Why would you do that to somebody, number one? Okay, number two, you don't have a leg to stand on, because if you actually knew anything about the Social Security laws, I'm not breaking any of them. The only way you could take Social Security away from you is if you're claiming a deceased person's, you know, benefits, if you are not living in the country. There's only like three or four things, and I don't fall into any of those categories. So, you know, it was just them being mean and ridiculous and crazy. But it, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it affected me. I mean, it didn't affect me personally, but oh, there's a squirrel coming. Oh, I wish you guys could see that. He just came right out of the dumpster. It was funny. It was like, whoop. But it didn't affect me personally. It just affected me when I think about, wow, like, you guys would really do that to somebody? This is somebody's, like, I have to put food on the table. I have to feed my children. I have to keep a roof over their heads. Like, why would you try to ruin someone's life? Like, literally ruin someone's life. Okay? I mean, this goes past, like, cyberbullying or anything like that. And that's serious. I'm not trying to downplay that at all. But literally ruin someone's life. You know, when I worked at the Attorney General's office, I made like $40 an hour, okay? Why in the world would I ever choose to go from $40 an hour to the measly amount that I make now, a month, okay? The amount I make now, if I was living on my own, the amount I make now would cover rent and maybe one bill. I wouldn't be able to eat, nothing like that. Because with the disability, I don't qualify for food stamps. I make too much. Like, really? Nobody could singly live off, if you have children, what I live off of. You just really couldn't. You know, now that I have Marin, things, of course, are a lot easier. But even still, I pay all the household bills. You know what I mean? But anyway, regardless of that, we still basically 50-50 it. But it is real. It is real. It is painful. I look at my life and I go, God, you know, like I want to be a free, you know, well, I've done some freelance makeup work, but people have to come to my house. And it's sad because I'm like, oh, God, no. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get a lot of work that way. It's like, you need to be able to travel, and I can't right now. So I look at my life and I'm like, I'm so like bored, and that's what I do YouTube for, and that's what I'm just, it's an outlet for me to at least have something to do, because you can only clean your house so much, right? It's like, you know, I can only vacuum so many times before it gets kind of neurotic. But just remember, guys, that, you know, invisible illnesses are illnesses too. So just because we look like normal human beings, we walk around, we're not limping, you know what I mean, we're not in a wheelchair, it doesn't mean we don't have an illness. And people should really think before they speak, because like I've said it before and I'll say it again, I would not wish my worst enemy to live a week in my brain. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. It's not a happy place. It really isn't. And, you know, and everyone says, oh, Chris, you're always so upbeat, and you're always so, and I am, because I am a social person. You know, I am upbeat, and I count my blessings every single day, because there's always somebody worse off than you. So, you know, and I think that changed a lot too after my cousin died in 2011 of cancer, because, you know, she's not here anymore. She's not here for her children. She's not here to enjoy life. I mean, here I am sitting in this parking lot, and it's sunny, and the sky is perfectly blue. There's not a cloud in it. And, you know, like I said, I just saw that little squirrel climb out of the dumpster and, you know, hop off into the bushes. And, you know, this is stuff that she doesn't get to see. I mean, actually, she probably does. She's in a better place than we are. But regardless, post down below, guys, what you guys think as far as invisible illnesses. And be honest. Like, we can have a debate about it. It's fine. But, I mean, you know, and I don't really want to get into the whole debate of people milking the system, because I agree with you. If you're going to say, oh, and I can't stand when people milk the system, I agree with you. Absolutely 100%. And you know why I agree with you? Because then it comes to people like me who really need the help. And because I don't have, you know, 10 children or whatever, I can't get the amount of benefits that I need. Take Marin out of the picture, okay? In food stamps, I was getting $33 a month. Really? Like, what is $33 a month going to buy me? Absolutely nothing, okay? And the only reason I kept up with it is because then Dante could get free lunch. So, you know, it's really, really ridiculous, because honestly, after my rent was over $900, and then on my bills, there was nothing left. So $33, I was going to the food pantries. You know, I mean, I don't have any shame as far as that's concerned, because that's what they're there for. But on the other hand, I do agree there's a lot of people that do milk the system. And it's a shame, because, you know, for people who really need it. And I was told I really don't need it by a lot of these people in these groups, in these wax groups. And you know what? Fuck you all. Okay? That's all I have to say, because you know what I mean? They're like, oh, my sister has blah, 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 and, you know, and she's taken away her. First of all, we don't even live in the same state, so, you know, I'm not taking away nothing from you guys, but whatever. And, you know, like I said, my doctor has determined I have a permanent disability. It's not something that's going to get better. I mean, yes, my days will get better, but it's not something that's going to go away. This is lifelong. This is going to be my life, and I can, you know, choose to live it in a happy, positive way or in a really negative way. And I do my best to run it in a happy, positive way and give inspiration to others and try to help others and that kind of thing. But, you know, I do agree there are people out there that totally milk the system. And I know it. You know, they work underneath the table. I know many of them. They work underneath the table, but they still collect benefits and that kind of stuff. No, you know, when I was working at Sephora, I filled out all my tax forms. You know what I mean? There was no working under the table. But anyway, post down below, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I think we kind of, in some instances, we might have to agree to disagree. But like I said, I really don't want to open up the debate about, like, benefits and that kind of stuff, because it gets to be a touchy subject, or milking the system. Because like I said, I do agree with, you know, a lot. There are a lot of people. I am not one of those people, but I've been accused of it. So it's kind of a touchy subject, and I think a lot of people don't understand the system either. Okay, it's not as cut and dry as, well, she gets benefits and I don't think she needs them and my so-and-so needs them. You know, I fought 3 years for these benefits. I could not work. I could not get out of bed. I couldn't, you know, I mean, I was, you know, hospitalized quite a few times, and it still took me 3 years and a lawyer. So, you know, it's not as simple as everybody thinks. It's not like someone's just handing me a check. You know what I mean? I have to fill out paperwork every year. My doctor fills out paperwork every year. It's you know, it's not that simple. I could go on and on though about certain things, because like I said, milking the system, addicts, inmates, you know, as soon as they get out, they get a check. You know, but that's a whole nother story, because, you know, I would have to really research and get more facts on that, because I don't like to talk about stuff that I don't really know. I've known people personally that have been drug addicts that have left prison and gotten Social Security checks. Do I agree with that? No. I know drug addiction is a disease. I know it is, but I didn't choose my brain to be this way. You chose, okay, I don't even want to say, I know I'm going to offend people, and I don't want to. That's not my intention. But, you know, I just feel like, even with smoking, you know what I mean? Is smoking an addiction? Yes, it is, but I chose to pick up that first cigarette. So that's my choice. I don't believe I should get a check in the mail because I am a smoker, or I smoke an e-cig now. But regardless, you know what I'm saying? I kind of feel the same way about drugs. I understand it's a disease, but you chose to put that needle in your arm the first time. You chose to, whatever, you know, your drug of choice is, you know, you chose that. And just like I chose cigarettes, you know, I don't have anybody to blame but myself. And so I don't think anybody should pay me, you know, or I should get benefits because I chose to do this, you know, to myself, meaning, you know, the smoking or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, post down below, guys, what you guys think on the subject, and I hope you guys have a glorious day, and I will talk to you later.